stuff, and he's making a video. So, but didn't you see the ones around the city office building? Those were amazing, right?
There's too much light from the city office.
Yeah, but I put double T lights in each bag. Didn't you see them?
You guys are live on YouTube. Just
I even
FYI.
used road base. Tyson, Jeff and Big Mike helped me put some road base and some buckets and put them in the bags. And then I ended up with too much road base and put it in the dumpster because Jeff said he didn't want it back. Sorry, is that like a huge no-no to do that?
Put it in the dumpster?
Yes. Just a little, like that much.
Fill the dumpster a quarter of the way full?
No, just a little. Cute hair, Anne. I like your hair.
Oh, thanks. Went sassy today.
I thought she was talking to me.
What's up with that?
Leonard, cute hair, Leonard.
Thank you. You had it cut yesterday, so.
And isn't it sassy every day? That's what I thought.
Easy now, easy.
It's sassy.
That's right.
So Kennedy Riley's here. Who's
1
Kennedy
minute till
Riley?
showtime.
She's our auditor.
Hi, Kennedy.
Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Oh, welcome, Amy. Good to see you too.
Thanks so much. Good to see you too, Anne.
Now I got all quiet. Gosh.
Yeah, we're almost there. We're live on YouTube and we are recording now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's this magic hour.
There you go.
All right. My clock says 6, so let's start. Welcome, everyone. I'd like to welcome Amy and Kennedy. I don't know if there's anybody else joining us, but good to have you here. We'll hear from Kennedy very shortly, and we'll give Amy a little chance toward the end if she's still around to ask her questions or tell us anything she wants us to know. So y'all know her well, not well, an hour's worth of well. So that's not a lot, but we'll get to know her better. That's for sure. All right, let's start this. Let's call to order the December 22nd, 2020 regular meeting of the Pleasant View City Council at 6 p.m. And welcome to all those that have joined us on Zoom. Hopefully there's some that are joining us. Hopefully that will maybe continue to expand. That is something I would like to maybe work on with the council in the future is getting some cameras in the council chamber. So when we return back to normal, we can still broadcast our meetings out on Zoom or out on the YouTube, sorry. But obviously that will take money, but we will be talking about money pretty shortly because we're already halfway through the year. So. All right, we'll start this meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, opening prayer, reading, or expression of thought by Councilmember Marriott. Okay.
Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll offer a prayer. Our Father in heaven, we're grateful for this opportunity we have to serve as council members and mayor, and we're grateful for the city in which we live and the opportunity we have to enjoy the freedoms and friendships that we have in this community. We're especially grateful for this time of year, and we pray for those in our city who need thy help, that we will be aware of them and their neighbors may be aware of them to help them and to help them enjoy this Christmas season and the spirit of Christmas. We ask a blessing to be upon us tonight, that we'll be wise in the decisions and the counsel that we give, and we pray for thy direction this night, and we do this in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Dave. All right, we'll move on to declaration of conflicts of interest. Any council members have anything to declare? Seeing none, I will just declare that I am a employee of the Northview Fire District. Item 5 concerns Northview Fire District. It's just a ratification of what we agreed to in prior city council meetings that I will be voting. So. All right. Comments or questions for the mayor or council from the public? Anybody on YouTube?
I didn't put my
Is there anybody on YouTube?
There's 4 people that I saw that when I just went and checked, but I don't know
You see any comments?
if, hang on. Let me check real quick. I don't have it up. I'll tell you. Just keep going, then I'll tell you if
All right.
there's any.
Let me know if we need to come back to it.
Okay.
Youth City Council.
I sent it to her.
Okay. Consent items. So minutes of December 8th, 2020, from the City Council and the bills of Pleasant View. Anybody got corrections or questions? If not, an entertain a motion to approve the consent item.
I'll make a motion that we consent, or that we approve the consent items.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, a motion by Bailey, second by Marriott. Any further questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hi, Mayor. There's no comments on the YouTube.
Any opposed? All right, that's approved. And we don't need to go back to that. So first item of business is the audit presentation. Child Richard CPAs and advisor. And we'll turn the time over to Kennedy.
All right, thank you. Okay, as mentioned, we just finished the audit for the year that ended June 30th, 2020. We didn't have any findings, so we're issuing a clean, unmodified opinion, which is the best opinion we can issue. So overall, we felt like things were going really well at the city and that your staff does a great job. We have one recommendation for you that I will go over at the end. I'm going to try to share my screen here. Okay, I'm going to dive right into this so I don't keep you for too long, but I'm going to start with this report here. This is just for the general fund, and it basically goes over the revenues and expenditures and shows what you budgeted for compared to what actually took place during the year. I'm not going to go through every single thing on this report. I'm just going to point out the biggest changes from last year's audit. So starting here, this is our revenues in the general fund. The biggest change here was in the sales and use tax area, which increased about 155,000 from the year before. That was definitely the biggest increase in the tax area. Coming down a little bit, building permits dropped about 67,000 from the year before. These other things stayed pretty consistent until we come down to Founders Day and the park and rec fees. Those were all down quite a bit due to COVID, which I'm sure is no surprise to all of you. Okay, I'm going to jump to this next page now. This is the expenditures of the general fund. Oh, I will point out, as far as revenues goes, the total revenue for the general fund was 4.1 million for the year, just so you're aware. Jumping over here to expenditures. Really, there was just a couple areas I'll point out here. The first one is in the public safety area. This police department expenditures went up about 117,000. And a large portion of that was due to the city hiring a new officer during the year. And then also the streets department here increased about 115,000. There's more street maintenance projects that took place throughout the year. So the total expenditures in the general fund are about 3.7 million. And then there was this transfer out. So overall down here, you'll see this is a negative amount, saying your expenses and your transfers were more than the revenue you brought in. But if it weren't for that transfer, you'd have more revenues than expenditures, if that makes sense. Does anyone have any questions on those couple of pages?
Well, that transfer was to keep our fund balance at the level that's allowed.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, there's kind of no way around that. Kind of had to happen.
That's fine.
Okay, I'm going to jump back up here then. Okay. So this is continuing on with governmental funds. This is now all of the governmental funds. So this includes the general fund, the capital projects fund, RDA fund. And I'm just going to kind of stay in this total area here. So as far as cash goes, these two top cash numbers, the unrestricted and restricted cash, those increased about 1.2 million from the prior year. So pretty big increase in cash as well. Another big change here is this RDA accounts receivable amount. This was grant money that hadn't come in yet at the end of the year that comes in the next fiscal year. These other things are pretty standard. This is something new this year. Obviously, this is CARES Act funding that the city had received but not yet spent at the end of the year. We just show that as unavailable revenue until it's actually been spent. And then this bottom portion is the fund balance of the city. So it breaks out the portions that are restricted and assigned. And then maybe what's most notable to you is this unassigned portion of 1.3 million, which is available for your use at your discretion. Any questions there? Okay. I'm going to switch over to the business types funds. So the storm sewer, solid waste, sewer, water, those funds. And this is, I realize this is hard to see because you can't see this over here, but as far as charges for services goes across all funds, they're pretty consistent, but just up about 45,000 from the year before. Expenses also stayed pretty consistent. This professional services account was the biggest change that increased about 50,000 from the year before. And then I will just point out to you here that all the funds except for this solid waste fund had an increase in their net position, just saying that the user fees are covering all the expenses of these funds, which is what you would hope to see.
Except for the solid waste.
Yeah, exactly.
We adjusted those funds though.
Yeah. Midway.
Oh, did you?
Perfect. Well,
Yeah, and it was just a small amount, so next year you'll probably be in good shape in that fund also.
Mayor, is that professional services? Is that our Jones and Associates? Is that because we got rid of our engineer?
That could be a whole bunch of professional people. It could be even like blue stakes and.
So that is not just Jones.
Not just Jones.
Okay. So why do we have 50,000 more in there? I don't know.
I want to say it was engineering fees maybe or attorney fees. I didn't write down exactly what it is, but I imagine a combination.
Is that because we got rid of the engineer? Do you think?
No, some of it looks like it's in the storm sewer, and they're doing all that impact update for the detention basins. So a lot of it could be there. That's where it looked like it was in the storm sewer.
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay, so continuing on with these same funds, this is now the statement of net position. So again, you'll see the assets, liabilities here.
School stuff. Yeah.
The cash in all these funds increased about 550,000. Good increase in cash again. These capital assets, I'm going to skip over for right now because I'm going to come right back to those in just a minute. The liabilities are pretty standard from last year. The biggest change would be your long-term liabilities decreased about 157,000 because of the bond payments that are made every year. And then again, I'll just point out this net position down here at the bottom. The total is 22 million. Obviously, the biggest portion of that is the capital assets. That's about 15 million of it, but there is about 5.5 million of unassigned, unrestricted funds available for your use. Okay, I'm going to jump down and just talk about the capital assets a little bit so you can kind of see what was purchased and what was sold throughout the year. This is in the governmental funds, so general capital projects. I'm just going to focus on these two main columns. These are the changes during the year. So the land increase here was due to the Skyline Drive land that was purchased. Construction in progress also increased quite a bit. Again, that Skyline Drive project that wasn't yet completed and the Rulon White, those are the two biggest portions of the construction in progress. As far as buildings go, there were some improvements to the city hall and flooring, things like that. The machinery and equipment, the biggest portion here was the new lease that the city entered for the police vehicles. I think between all those vehicles, they totaled about 220,000. So that makes up the biggest portion there. And then a few other trucks that were purchased as well. And this decrease here that you see is the old lease that we got rid of when the new lease came into play. Infrastructure amount is almost all developer contributions for the Harris Hills development, I believe. There's not much else going on there. Any questions on those? Okay. Coming down, this is the same table now just for the business type funds. So the construction in progress increase here was for the elimination of the sewer outfall project. And then this decrease really just shows that the Evergreen Storm Bypass project was completed during the year and transferred down here to utility systems. Other things in this utility systems are just other small projects that took place throughout the year, and then some other developer contributions. Machinery and equipment, the biggest portion there was the sweeper that was purchased, and again, just some other smaller trucks and equipment. Any questions there? All right, well, let's see. I'm just about finished. I'm just my last thing here. This statement kind of brings everything together. It's a little bit overwhelming, but it does show you the totals of all the funds put together for the city. So what I did want to point out to you is this cash balance here, as well as the restricted cash here, totaled about 14.1 million at the end of the year, which again was up almost 2 million from the prior year. So that was one of the bigger changes from last year. Everything else we've pretty much discussed on here already. You'll see the total net position for all the funds was about 49 million at the end of the year. And then I will just end with this recommendation we have for you guys. Just to help strengthen your controls a little bit, we recommend that someone perform an additional review of the bank statement each month. You have a small office staff and it's hard to separate who does what. And we think that just by adding someone, it could be someone on the board or the new city administrator, just someone to look over those bank statements and sign off on them each month to make sure that everything looks okay, nothing suspicious or weird has taken place throughout the month. And that is all I have for you, unless anyone has any questions or concerns.
We'll have our new city administrator get with Laurie and come up with a recommendation to the council on that. Thank you.
Perfect. That would be great.
I just have a general question, Mayor, if that's all right.
You bet. Go ahead, Dave.
Who pays for the audit, and tell me about the audit, how that works, as far as how many cities do you guys audit normally, and what kind of certifications do you for cities? Just kind of curiosity about that.
You're asking me, right?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry, Kennedy.
No, you're okay. As far as who pays for it, that's included in the budget for the city every month. And then our firm does quite a few local government audits all around Utah, a lot of a lot of cities close to Pleasant View, we do the audits for. We have, our office is made up, we have about 20 people in there, 7 of which are auditors. All have master's degrees and working towards CPAs. And we really specialize in nonprofits and governments. Those are the 2 main types of audits that we do all year long. So I
We're
think
required by law to have an audit every year and submit that audit to the state auditor's office.
correct.
Yeah, I understand that. I just was curious. Just wanted a little bit more information. So
Yeah.
thanks.
Sure.
Yeah, no problem.
Mayor,
Go ahead.
does it have to vary the companies? Do you go out to bid for that? Or can you just select the company that you like? Or how does that process work? I'm just curious.
We went out to bid maybe 5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, and then internally, we'll have different auditors from their group actually come out here too.
Okay.
So they
Yeah.
do the job.
Yeah, typically cities will go out to bid maybe every 5 or 7 years. And you don't have to choose someone else, but it gives you the option to. And a lot of times we will bid it again and sometimes get the audit again. But we do try to rotate who actually does the audit, so it's not the same person looking at it year after year.
Right.
That's good practice.
Absolutely.
All
Okay,
right.
well, thanks for having me.
Question, Kennedy, sorry. How often do you get a city audit where everything looks so good? I mean, is that common or?
A lot of times there are like state compliance findings. That's probably the most common. The state requires a lot of little kind of nitpicky things, I guess you could say. And it's pretty rare for a city not to have any of those state compliance findings. So that really speaks to your staff that they do a great job to make sure all those things are taken care of every year.
2 years in a row now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Seriously. And if they're ever,
All that training you guys are doing.
actually in the 5 years that I've been here, I can think of maybe one thing or 2 things maybe in 5 years that I've ever heard of.
Yeah, it is pretty rare. So
Kudos to our staff. Thanks so much, Kennedy.
Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
As we all knew, we're in great shape, and so thanks to our staff. What a wonderful job they do keeping us on our toes and in good financial condition for as stewards of the funds for our citizens. It's important, and like I said, I can't tell you how many audits from all the different boards and 40 years I served at the county. They are not that common to get a clean audit like this. So
yeah,
to have 2 years in a row really speaks volumes to the efficiency of our staff and what we're doing. So thank you. All right.
Thanks, Kennedy.
Thank you.
Item 2, discussion of possible action to approve a city administrator's employment contract. All right. As each of you know, Amy has agreed to come to work for us. I question her sanity, but she's willing to, so we're glad to have her on board. This is her contract. Basically what we had with Bill. Anybody got any questions? It was in your packet before you had a chance to review
She
it.
knows we took the bond out.
Oh, no, I don't know if she does or not. Amy, there was a thing about the bond.
Yeah, I saw it in the language. It sounded like the city would probably do that. So
Yeah, we took it out because
confirming that. Yeah.
Been a change in the law that
We're gonna try to see if we can change it so we can.
either way the city will take, if it's still required, there's a whole new law that came into effect to kind of do more an umbrella type protection. And we're researching that, but either way, we took it out.
Yeah, no, thank you for taking care of that.
Our legal did review it, and Amy's, I assume you had legal review it, or maybe you just reviewed it. Either way.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with the content. Yeah.
And, so questions, concerns?
Mayor, there's not any major changes with the previous contract.
Correct.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the city administrator employment contract as it appears in the packet.
I'll second that motion.
And welcome, Amy.
Okay, motion by Bailey, second by Yuri. There was a third there somewhere. I didn't catch who it was, but discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Great. Thank you, thank you. I'd still like to wait to the end if that's okay. You can stick with us through the whole meeting, Amy?
I was planning on doing so. Yes, I'll probably be hanging out at all your meetings now. Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you for the vote of confidence.
I
though.
know,
I'm really looking forward to it.
You don't officially start till the 11th, so I didn't want to make you, I know you were on here for this particular thing.
Oh, I live for this stuff.
All right. Move on to item 3 then. Discussion and possible action to approve Budge Farms Phase 1 preliminary subdivision, 30 lots located at approximately 1500 west between Pleasant Drive and Highway 89.
It's off the table.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. We're gonna strike that item. They're not ready. I forgot. Thank you, Larry. Item 4 is discussion and possible action to renew 2021 workers' compensation insurance in the amount of $48,162. Larry.
Yeah, this is a renewal of our workers' compensation. It is this year $48,000 and $162 for the year. It has gone up from last year. Last year was $43,000. The year before, I think, was $38,000. What is happening is our experience modifier is going up. It's at 1.85 and it should be at 1 point or below. And so the trust is suggesting that we start some kind of a incentive program. So we'll be looking at something like that to see if we can't get that number down and start saving instead of paying more on it. So, but it is what it is, and no matter who we go with, that's the industry surcharge that we're paying for also.
The bottom line is we've had some expensive claims from
Yeah, workers' comp.
workers' comp because of injuries, especially in the police department areas. All right, any questions for Laurie?
This is just so we can start paying the bills again for this next calendar year.
Okay. If no questions, I'd entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'll make that motion to renew the 2021 workers' compensation insurance in the amount of $48,162.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Gibson, second by Arrington. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Item 5, ratify the CARES Act funding agreement between Northview Fire District and Columbia City. As you may recall, when we approved the funding for the Northview Fire District, we asked that they basically hold us harmless in case it's ruled that they need to pay the money back or something wasn't done correctly, that the city's not on the hook for the money, that the fire district is on the hook for the money. That's what this agreement is for, is to do that.
So Mayor, being this is the third time we've had this before us, I'll make the motion that we ratify this funding agreement between Pleasant View and North Ogden Fire District.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Gibson, second by Bailey. Further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
How much money are we giving back?
We ended up giving them total for the 2 allocations, 97,000 and some change.
That's how much we gave the fire department. How much do we have to give back to the county?
To this county, what did we forward to the county?
3, 6, 7, 8,
How much?
8,000 maybe. 800,000 to the Weber County, somewhere around there.
Gosh.
Okay, so they contracted, well, they sent it out. I mean, they gave it, like I mentioned last time, they actually gave more money to Pleasant View than we contributed in. Our businesses did rather good. And then they've been working with hospitals, also on behalf of the entire county, school districts, school districts, and they partnered with Ogden City to work help with nonprofits. And so it's been a great blessing to have the CARES money in our communities.
Right.
All right, item 6, discussion possible action to consider a policy to write off final billed utility accounts in amounts $3 and less. Policy 2020-3. Laurie.
Yes, when we terminate utility accounts, sometimes we'll finalize out the bill and they owe us like $1.62 or something. We hate to keep sending them letters saying you owe us $1. And I've actually sent one person to collections for $2. And so we're just wondering if $3 and under, if we can just write those off. And then anything over, we will ask that they pay, but at least let us write them off.
It probably costs you more to send out the notices than.
Yeah.
Exactly, that's the
Yeah.
problem.
Stamps,
You're absolutely
work,
right.
and- yeah. We don't get too many, but we're sitting about four of them right now, so.
Okay, any questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve that policy.
Mayor,
So-
oh yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
was
Go ahead,
just gonna
Sarah.
say so moved.
Okay,
I'll second the motion.
motion by Yuri, second by Marriott. Roll call vote. Arrington,
Yes.
Bailey,
Yes.
Gibson,
Yes.
Marriott,
Yes.
Yuri.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm gonna sign this another too.
Hey, Mayor, or Laurie, how do we come to $3? I mean, is that a good place to, I mean, I would think $5 or even, would be,
When I looked at the chart of what people owe, we don't really get too many. We only have maybe there's one at $5.87, but the rest are like $30, $60. There's just a very few that are just small. And so it's just like $3 is a good cutoff.
I mean, I would say under 10 would probably be, the final bill. It's almost not worth it for you to do that. Unless we're having a lot of them, but I mean, $30, that's something we can go after, but anyway, but if $3 is where you feel comfortable, then I'm good with that.
Okay.
All right. I do not believe we need a closed meeting. And I would like to not do reports tonight. I'd like to mention a short meeting, let everybody go home and spend the time with their family this holiday season. Anybody have absolutely something that is really burning? If not, we'll turn the time over to Amy. So Amy, just so you know, usually at the end of council, we just go around and see if there's any, just kind of keep everybody up to date on everything and have a brief report from each council member.
Oh, that's great. I think that's a great way to stay communicating. So.
All right, we'll turn the time over to Amy. Anything you want to tell us that's just burning in your soul?
Well, I am really thrilled at this opportunity. I feel that it's a really positive fit. I have to say, with meeting with the council, with the mayor, getting to meet the staff, I'm just very thoroughly impressed with Pleasant View and thrilled to step into this role. I've worked for any public that might be out there, with Ogden City for the past 11 and a half years, and I'm excited to transition into a different form of government and to collaborate with you all in moving the community, continuing to move the community forward. I think there's been a lot of awesome efforts and there's a lot of momentum to build from. So thank you again for this opportunity.
Excellent, thank you. Welcome aboard.
We expect a lot from you, Amy, so don't let us down now.
I do not plan on letting anyone down, and please,
good enough.
my door is open. Please feel free to call. I know I've already spoken with a few of you, but and the same goes to the citizens as well as to the employees. Obviously, that's very important, but I want to be here as a resource to anyone that needs it.
And just so you know, this is probably a record. I mean, it's what, 6:32? Yeah, I wouldn't count on this every time.
It is Christmas, Mayor.
Yeah.
So
This is the first meeting I've ever had on
Christmas
Christmas
miracle.
week for 5 years.
There is
Yeah,
a bowl
normally we
game.
don't-
There's a bowl game on tonight, right?
Right. Amy, you're that awesome that we were willing to meet on Christmas week just for you.
Oh, thank you, Sarah.
Dave, they're down by 2 touchdowns, so you're
Hey,
Oh, whoa. Them's fighting words, Steve. None of that.
no,
None of
I
that.
have no idea.
Yeah.
It's 28-7.
All right,
28-7. Who are they playing?
I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll
Second.
second the motion.
All right, lots of motions and seconds there. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thanks, everybody. Have a Merry
Bye.
Christmas.
Thank you all. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Merry Christmas.
everyone.